Hi, and welcome to UX Clicks. We're here to help you kickstart your careers within user experience design. And today we're coming from sunny, swelteringly hot Dubai. And our video today is like 7 hacks to help you create a great UX portfolio. First up is ideally you want 3 to 5 projects. Less is more. 3 is great. Probably don't want too many than 5.
Yeah, it's something about 3 as this number. So it's like not 1 because it's a bit too little, not 2 because it's sort of like maybe, but 3 is kind of a number that makes sense that you've done some projects, right?
Yeah. And over 5 is kind of, then it becomes quite hard to
digest,
to see as a whole.
Yeah, to digest and sort of understand what kind of projects you're working on.
Yeah.
And also, when I had a couple of times interviews, people that I interview with, they usually go literally over 3 projects tops.
Yeah.
So it sort of goes to say that this is like a digestible amount of projects you can talk about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so another great hack is to focus and start your project. When you talk about it in your portfolio, always focus on the problem you're trying to solve. So because obviously UX is all about solving problems for your users, and starting with the problem as a intro copy, and also, you know, what you said, understanding the problem well enough so you can describe it in 1 sentence.
Yeah, keeping it short is good.
Yeah, keeping it short. Yeah, because sometimes they say if you can't describe something in 1 sentence, you don't understand it well enough.
It makes it much easier to communicate and sell. All great products have that.
So number 2 is start with the problem, describing it.
Number 3, tell a story. Try and tell a story about the project that you're putting into your portfolio. Why is that project important? What is the kind of key takeaways of that project? What was it that you've learned most on that project that can kind of make your story around that? I think it's kind of helpful.
It's really helpful, and I think it makes people memorize you better because they could potentially emotionally relate to the story.
Yeah, I think stories are just a great way of communicating an idea or a concept. So if you can tell a story with your project, it makes it much easier to consider what you want to say and for other people to pick up the things that you're trying to say with that project.
Yeah. So number 4. So number 4 is something that's really obvious, but a lot of people actually missing out on that one. Just remember that UX, like we said, it's all about solving problems, but from business perspective, and they are actually the ones who are gonna hire you, it's all about meeting their objectives, or their goals and KPIs.
Challenges.
And challenges. So it's very, very important to include, even in bullet points, main KPIs that you were aiming at when you were working on a project. So for example, increase the amount of people visiting the site, or increase the conversion, increase the amount of people using mobile versus website, so desktop websites, and things like that.
Improve sign-up flow, have better conversion on the checkout process, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's really cool to add also challenges. So for example, you were working on the project, these were your KPIs, and these were the challenges that you sort of found when you started working on it, right? So that was number 4.
Yeah, number 5 is lay out your projects with clear headers. If you think about kind of UXing your portfolio, and you think about the end users of your portfolio, those people that are going to be looking at your portfolio most are either going to be recruiters, recruitment agents, or people looking at your portfolio for hiring. And so they won't be just looking at your one individual portfolio on its own. They'll be looking at maybe even hundreds of portfolios. So they're going to quickly scan through, and I don't know if you've ever seen any eye tracking online, people do kind of jump around. So if you have clear headers and titles, and kind of like lay out your projects nicely so they're scannable, that's a great way of presenting your work in different projects.
Yeah, just to add to it, obviously the next point would be avoiding the copy that is very long, so don't create so-called wall of copy.
Yeah, I think those things are, there's places where those things are appropriate, and that would be in a blog, for example,
Yeah.
Medium. You know, you're there, you're looking at an article because you're specifically interested in that article, therefore
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
take
yeah.
time to read that copy.
Exactly.
If someone's looking at hundreds of portfolios, they're not going to have time to read acres and acres of copy about your projects and your process.
And it's very important for you, that project, obviously. For them, they're literally looking for keywords and the main things that relate to what they need to achieve. So if you do want to include copy, just make sure it's quite concise. And what else you can do is just using bullet points. Bullet points are really short and very easy to scan, and they basically show the keywords which recruiters or whoever is looking at your portfolio will probably looking for, right?
Yeah, nice. And 7, our last tip is make your portfolio look good. Potentially controversial for user experience, but it's user experience design, and I think when companies are looking at individuals to come on board and help them with their user experience, they inevitably want to see how, or have some sight of how their product's going to end up looking. So if you can make your portfolio look nice and presentable and show that you have an understanding of typography, layout, imagery, cropping, kind of art direction, like that's a really great thing, and it definitely will help to put you above others that aren't taking the time to do that. And you know, maybe you won't necessarily be doing the UI design stuff in your day-to-day, but if you demonstrate an understanding of those values and how to lay out a page, that means you'll be able to communicate everything that's required for you within the project, as well as directing those individuals that you're kind of overseeing on the design part.
Yeah, that is so true. It's essentially, it's essentially telling people who want to invest in you this how your product could look like, right? So, and also what we notice working with many companies is a lot of stakeholders and in general people who are not designers have trouble understanding wireframes and what wireframes are, and is it the final design, this is how product is gonna look like. So it's better to always finish your sort of story of the particular project with some kind of UI representation, and in general keep your portfolio really tidy and clean and look presenting nicely, as I say.
Yeah, great. So thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful. If you click on the subscribe button down below, we'll keep you updated with more, and if you've got any questions, just ping us a comment in the comments below. Cool, have a great day.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.